How's it going? This is the first ever Far Mighty tier list, and today we're going to be doing all the heroes in Overwatch to see if they're mineable or not with Wrecking Ball. Alright, so here we have all the heroes in Overwatch, all of them in alphabetical order. We're going to arrange them from the tier list easy kill, often, sometimes, rarely, and never. You should never minefield these guys. First up is D.Va Overwatch. Now, she's surprisingly easy to kill with mines. As long as you just wait out for her cooldowns with the micro boosters, all you have to do is just minefield on top of her and then do the classic slam thing while she's on cooldowns for it. Because her defense matrix does jack all to it, you can just you just plant them on top of her and then she'll just bounce around on them like a little thing, and then she'll just be exposed, and then you can kill her right then and there. So, easy kill. Doomfist is not someone you should ever put your mines down. The only reason you should ever do them is because if he doesn't have his slam ability, you could pretty much force him to zone him out since a lot of his attacks requires him to be really up close to his enemies. But other than that, he can just slam into your mines and just destroy all of them. So yeah, that's gonna be rarely. Next up is Junker Queen. Now, Junker Queen, she's mostly stuck to the ground. It's sort of like the same thing with D.Va, except she's way more killable without her movement speed. After she uses her shout, she's really easy to kill with mines. You just have to slam and get like a good one in. But the only issue with it is that her axe can attack multiple of your mines at once, so pretty much clearing them out a bit faster. But since she's using a shotgun mostly, it's not going to matter that much, so often. Malga is an interesting case. You should only do it like sometimes because this dude's health is so massive and his sustainability is so big that even with the minefields, it only probably like bring him like halfway down, like best case scenario. Which even with like a character like Malga is probably the most use your ult could even get out of him. Plus, there's the whole thing with like his cage. That's a huge risk of dying right there and just wasting your ult entirely. So yeah, sometimes. Arissa, never. Just what our first ever never. Did not ever minefield her. She has so many ways to survive them. Her javelin her javelin spin makes her just pop them all. I've seen that they can like she can still get damage from them as if they're actually exploding. But that combined with her fortify ability, she's pretty much impossible to kill. Not to mention her ult literally gets rid of it completely. I've seen so many Arissas use their ult immediately in reaction to me doing the minefield thing, and it just isn't crazy. It's just crazy how quickly it gets rid of everything. So yeah, never. Ram is just yeah. He's got like a lot of sustainability because of his blocking shield and nemesis form, but he's really slow in it, and even when he doesn't have nemesis form, he can put up his shield that can sort of take out one or two mines, but after that he's pretty much, and after that you just gun him down while he's trying to navigate through the mines. So yeah, he's pretty mineable, so often. Ryan is actually someone you should also never minefield at all. I've seen so many Reinhardts, the second I put my mines on top of them, not only they're able to dodge the slam that I do with their shield by putting it up, and because of how big it is, it's just impossible to hit them with it, but they also do a huge spin with their shield, and then almost all of them are gone. Like, there's like 5 or 6 left, and they just tank it because it just doesn't do anything to Ryan's enormous health pool. Which, yeah, so you should never do it to Ryan. Plus, also his Earth Shatter, like Malga's Cage, could get you killed very easily. Hog himself. Now, it's crazy to say this, but I think that his Wrecking Ball's mines actually destroy Hog, like no dip. It's so easy to just plant all of them into him, especially if you can track his vaping ability, and then once he's out of it, he just bounces around there, and he's so slow and has such a huge hitbox, it's almost impossible not to kill him with him. So even though he counters him, and even with his own ult, he still has to dedicate his time towards shooting them, otherwise he'll just die inside the mines. But of course, just always track the cooldowns. So easy kill. Sigma, it's kind of the same thing with Ryan. His shield can take out so many of the mines, but he's also one of those tanks that have very low mobility. So just like with Hog, after his shield, he's just really easy to kill with him. So I guess the play would be to just try to force out his shield and just try to gun him down. But then if he has his vortex ability, just make sure that he also doesn't have that as well. So yeah, like not really the best circumstances. So sometimes. Winston, much like D.Va, think that it would be easy to kill him, but no, his shield, it's a very common thing. Any tank that has a shield, it just makes mines really hard to land, and it's no different for Winston. Even without his jump, the best you can do with mines is just force out his primal ability, but even then, he's not got that much to worry since his jump is extreme, gets him a lot of quick distance really quickly, and even with D.Va, at least D.Va has to like go really slow. Winston just is 1 second there and he's not anymore. So yeah, you should rarely do it. Next up is Hammond himself. Now, I have seen certain instances where minefielding next to a wrecking ball is actually really useful, but because of his slam ability, you're going to have to just try to bait that out, or just wait for him to use it, and then you can use it. Because it's the same thing with Ball as well as like Doomfist. He has to get really close to kill things really quickly. And while you're moving around like an idiot, especially with Wrecking Ball, yeah, you can very easily just run into the mines, especially if you put them in a very vital spot, like directly on the objective. So yeah, but still though, his slam can sort of ruin things, and then his own minefields can actually destroy another minefield. So yeah, it's just sometimes you should do it. Next up is Zarya, and much like Hog and Sigma, she has very low mobility, so you can pretty much just bait out her bubbles and then just try to get a good slam in. But she's a bit more harder to do than Hog. I'll still consider her an easy kill, but you just have to know about the Vortex that she has, her ultimate. Because once again, with like Mauga, it can sort of get you killed if you're trying to go for literally anything. But just track it and make sure that like you're not in a horrible spot, and you'll survive it. Next up is the DPS, starting off with Ashe. Now Ashe is someone you should often try to get mines on. Her coach gun is the only thing that you have to really worry about, and I've seen some Ashes before like throwing their bobs out at the minefield thinking that it does something, which like I think it does sometimes, but most of the time all it does is just take out like 5 of them and brings their bob like almost close to dying the second they run through it. So I don't really know why they do that. It's not really a good trade. But yeah, just coach gun and then you're good. Next up is Bastion. Bastion, once again, a lot of this whole like thing is just make sure to track the movement or sustainability options for them, and then try to use it when they're vulnerable. But for Bastion, his turret form makes him super slow, and for some reason a lot of these guys want to commit to their turret form. So yeah, just minefield them and slam when they're in their turret form, and most of the time they'll go down. It's pretty funny to see. So often. Next up is Cassidy. He's super easy to kill with mines. All you have to do is just wait for him to be in a vulnerable spot, and then you go. The thing is with like his roll, he can soak up damage with like 1 mine per roll, but it goes so slow that he just can't. It goes so far that he can't even go that far with it. So it's not all that much of a thing to worry about. I've actually done some plays before where Cass is going to high noon, and then you just minefield on top of them, and then they either die for it or they get 1 kill but still die for it. Either way, it's almost always a guaranteed kill, so easy kill. Echo, I mean, like, well, what do you expect? You should never minefield her. I'm telling you this, you should never minefield her. She has so many ways of surviving mines, and a lot of them are foolproof. First of all, her flying ability makes her like that comes out every like 3 seconds. She instantly shoots up into the air, so that's impossible to do it with. And then her copy ability, which is not very easy to bait out because of how low you have to usually get these echoes to do it. And because the what she's likely going to copy into is you. She turns into a wrecking ball with a bunch of HP that can just roll away immediately, or like use the hook to get out of it really quickly. So yeah, just never mind filler. Now is Genji. Genji's kind of like the same thing with like Echo. He can get really high vertical momentum very quickly with his dash, but that's all the only thing you need to track. As long as you don't do it next to any walls where he can just climb up and escape the minefield altogether, it's usually an easy kill to get, so I would just do rarely. Now it's Hanzo. Hanzo is just an easy kill. It's the same thing with like Genji, except for his jump. His second jump is more like a cast rollout, so it just is very easy to predict. And not only that, it's also very easy to kill somebody. Very easy to kill somebody, even if they have a like full cooldown. So yeah, very easy kill. Junk is the same thing as Echo. He can get a lot of vertical momentum really quickly with his minefield, but strangely enough, I've gotten a lot of kills against junks with their with my mines just from putting them down in like any spot. I think it might be because the mines actually activate with his C4s or whatever they're called. But yeah, that's probably the reason why. So I'm just gonna say sometimes you should do it. Mei is rarely the case. She has two ways of getting out, which is her walls. She can just put the wall underneath her and run away with it, or she can go into an ice block and have her stuck inside of it, which the only thing it would be useful for would be to wait out her cooldown for her wall, so there's more safe time for her to go out. Something I have found pretty funny to do is just minefielding on top of a Mei who has their ice block out. Usually it doesn't get the kill, but when it does, it's so funny. Anyways, rarely. Now there's Reaper. Reaper is impossible to kill with mines. Do not ever do it. He has his shotguns, which not only come out really fast, but he's also got his phasing out ability. He's got his teleportation, both of which can actually get him out in a pretty good time. And also his ultimate just completely negates your ultimate as well. So, yeah. And since you would be slamming onto him, he's actually technically getting more value than your mines ever would by getting you into a bad spot as well. So yeah, just never do it on top of him. Never. Sojourn is awful. As long as she doesn't have her jump thing ability, I don't know what that kind of jump is called, but as long as she doesn't have it, then you can very easily get the kill off of her. It's only the issue of her being fully charged and doing a bunch of damage to you really quickly before she dies, which for a lot of Sojourn players, they always want to get just more kills. Yeah, it's like that kind of mindset. Never. Soldier is easy kill. Now, as long as you get like a good slam, because sometimes the slams that you get off of some of these characters, if you do it too far enough, they won't shoot up into the air. They'll slightly just stop whatever they're doing for a few seconds. Which, much like Doomfist's slam, it doesn't actually put them in the air. It just stops them for a brief moment. But for Soldier and all these other heroes that are easy kills, this is all assuming that you get like a really good slam on them. Then it's a super easy kill. The same thing with Soldier. Now Sombra. Sombra, you should rarely ever do this. The only time I've gone successful with minefielding Sombra was when I'm doing it on top of her team and with a bunch of my teammates also diving with me as well. The reason for this is because her EMP and hacking ability can actually still get you before she dies to the minefields or she decides to translocate away. So imagine you just minefield her, you slam, then while she's in the air, she does the EMP thing, and now you're in a worse spot than before. But it's really funny to see sometimes that Sombras tend to forget that the minefields don't go away from the EMP. They just get shut down temporarily. Then sometimes you just walk into it because they forget. Lol. Now is Symmetra. Symmetra is an easy kill with her. As long as she doesn't have the reaction speed of a freaking cat, and she's not able to throw out her teleporter as quickly as possible, the second she sees your face entering the air, then yeah, you can get an easy kill off of her. But every time you slam down, I'm always under the assumption that you also just gun them down at the same time, since a lot of the time minefields don't actually one-shot most of these squishies. They mostly just bring them down to really low HP just for one mine. But it's still good no matter what. Easy. Next up is Torbjorn, much like Soldier 76, easy. You only gotta worry about his the overcharge thing or whatever it's called. He just starts running really fast with it, but it doesn't do that much against the line. It's not that powerful. And his turret also goes down really quickly to the mines. I don't know why the heck you mind fielding a turret, but it's you do you. But yeah, Torb, easy kill. Tracer, if you've seen enough of my clips before, you would see that Tracers usually get really close to the mines very dangerously, and booping them into it is not that hard. So it's more or less like a situation of just make something happen in that instance. So like you place your mines down in the spot where they're likely to be hanging around, and then you just try to look for an opportunity, and then you just take it as quickly as you can, come out with the kill, and then Tracer gets sent back to spawn. So sometimes. Venture is one of those characters that you should never ever minefield, because they're able to destroy the entire minefield with their burrowing ability and their drill dash thing, which I think is one of the most annoyingest abilities in the game. Like seriously, I seriously do not like Venture in this game. They are so annoying with the drilling and the burrowing, and it's also one of the easiest DPSs to ever play. And it's just never do it, never do it. Now, Widow, you should never minefield her. Why should you never minefield her despite her being there? Well, because of her grapple ability that makes it very easy for her to get away. But even in a situation where you don't have to worry about her grapple at all, why would you be minefielding her when just getting a good slam off of her and just gunning her down that melee is a million times less costly and also way more quicker and efficient to do? Because Widow only has like a 150 HP as I recall, and a good slam does like almost half of that. So all you gotta do is just do that and just practice in the training on how to kill Widows super quickly, and you'll be sending them right back to where they belong very quickly, which is spawn. Starting off the supports, we got Ana. Ana is a really easy kill, as long as you make sure that she doesn't have her biotic grenade, because that can actually make her survive another mine. Because most of the time, just one mine and a few bullets could do the job, but because of that grenade, she can survive another one and some, then some. So just make sure that you also don't get slept, because if you get slept, entire team can just kill you even if you're in the minefield while you're trying to get away. So yeah, it's more safer to just slam, to just minefield, then slam, and then run away. And low movement character, she'll die easily to it. Now we have Bap. Bap, you should often be throwing your mines at him, because Bap's most of his value is either from his generating ability that can heal people around him, but what's most important is his lamp. His lamp is one of the most annoying abilities in the game. Anything that grants invincibility in this game is something that's always worth baiting out, and it's one of those things where it's better if you just get that one cooldown out, because that can result in so much difference happening in the next upcoming fight, especially with the long cooldown it has. That's pretty much the only time he's gonna ever use it that whole fight. So often. Brig is sometimes you should be fielding on top of her. It's the same thing with a lot of these movement-based heroes. You just have to wait for her to use her shield bash, and then you're good. But be careful though, because if she doesn't die to the mines, she can actually proc Inspire by just swinging at them, which I'll be honest, I haven't seen that being useful in most situations. But I assume it's just a way for them to get their points up I don't know who they're healing though, because most people right now are going to be near the minefield anyways. If it's in mid-battle though, then it could be actively feeding since you're giving her something to swing at. So yeah, just be careful with that. So sometimes. Next up is Alari. Her ultimate grants her a flying ability. Nah, just kidding. But her ultimate and her movement ability with the where she does the spinny thing, like the spin. She is actually pretty hard to kill sometimes. It's mostly with the turret that you wanna make sure she doesn't have when you slam down on her. Because once that turret is out, she's pretty much extremely vulnerable, especially without her other spin attack, spin as well. But even then, it doesn't heal her at all, and she doesn't go that far with it. So it's very easy to kill her still without her turret. So yeah. Now Juno. Yeah, she has a double jump ability and she can float with it. That's it. Never. Yuri is the same thing with like Bap, but she has way more cooldowns that you need to get out before she's actually killable. First, her TP, which I have found that Kyries are really vulnerable without their TPs because once again, that's their only movement ability. They're just walking forward and climbing up the walls. But it's also their Suzu that you wanna be able to take out as well. But it's different with Bap because Bap only has like one ability that makes him impossible to kill. Kiri has two. But since getting rid of even one of them can be useful to get to killing her in the first part of the fight, then yeah, it still could be something good. Plus, if she does TP onto an enemy, you can just minefield on top of that enemy as well, and then you can sort of try to get a double kill, and you can either force out her Suzu or she'll die for it, which is good either way, because I don't like Kiris. Next up is Life Weaver, and Life Weaver you should barely with mines. This is because of his tree, his pedal ability, and his dash remarkably does a lot of damage, especially when it's combined with his pedal to just create a super long jump that is almost impossible to get at. That was almost impossible to trap him with. But really, the only thing that you would be going for with Life Weaver's abilities with the minefields is maybe trying to bait out Life Grip. But even then, it would be more important just to try to save mines for when he doesn't have Life Grip. Then you can kill whoever he's trying to Life Grip, or you can try killing him. It's really easy to actually chase him, but the only issue is, of course, his team is feeling really, and he can literally Life Grip them out of safety. So rarely you should minefield him, but always you should be going for him normally. Now it's Lucy. And he is a very easy kill to get with mines. The only thing you have to worry about is his wall riding ability and his slam. Not his slam. He's already. But he has his ultimate, which grants him a bunch of HP super quickly. I've seen some Lucios see me in the air, and they preemptively throw down their B so that they can just tank some of the mines and just keep the fight going, negate it. I've seen that happen before, but the large majority of them, as long as you get a good slam on them, and it's in an open area with no walls in sight, and then you minefield right on top of them, they'll be trapped in there and they'll be good as gone. So yeah. Now Mercy, rarely. Same thing. It's the same thing with like kind of Life Weaver. As long as they've got like other people around them, they can just immediately get out of this situation by just flying towards them. The only thing that would sort of stop this would be a perfectly timed slam. But a lot of Mercy players who are insane at movement speed will just know what to do exactly in that situation. Especially if they have Valk, they'll just Valk out of the situation. Especially if minefields is like what you use at the start of the fight to pick a support or something like that, then it can just completely get negated with Mercy's ult and her flying ability. So yeah, rarely. Next up is Moira. Moira is kind of the same thing with Mercy. She's extremely mobile with her fadeaway ability. And I don't think her orbs, I haven't seen any Moiras that have actually like used their orbs to try escaping a minefield. But most of the time they just die for it, or they just fade away. So I guess it's just waiting until their fadeaway is gone, and then doing the whole minefield and then slam thing onto them. But mostly, it's important to just get their cooldowns out, which you would already normally be doing as Wrecking Ball. So yeah, rarely. Now it's Zen. Zen, you should often be trying to mind kill, because this guy is one of the most killable characters in the game. That was a joke. He's got his Discord and his insane volley charging up ability thing. Yeah, all of those things can make him extremely hard to kill if he knows you're going to. But mainly the biggest thing about killing a Zen with the mines is not actually killing him, but forcing out his ultimate. Because a lot of Zen players really love their KD. They'll ult in spawn just to save themselves, which I've seen a few Zen players do, and even seen like their own teammates like bash them for, which is kind of funny. But still though, like, bro, why are you doing that? So yeah, often. And anyways, that's the tier list. I wanted to do something a little bit different other than the montages, but I don't think I'm going to do another one of these until I get better audio equipment. I'm currently recording with some of the most primitive technology possible, and I just want to say I'm very grateful to everyone who wants to view my videos, all 7 of you guys. So yeah, I really love all of you guys, and I hope I can keep making more content for you guys. And stay mighty, my ballers.